blastmusic247.com. We're changing the industry one artist at a time.
Hey everyone, welcome to According to Courtney. If this is your first time here, I'm Courtney West. I'm a full spectrum doula, birth nerd, and advocate of all fun birthy stuff. So today I am super excited to have this guest today because a lot of people don't really understand home birth. You'll hear about it or see it on TV, and sometimes it's overly dramatized and it doesn't give a really true caption of what really happens during it. So I wanted to have an opportunity that you get a chance to talk to a mom who's had a hospital birth and a home birth and see how the experiences are similar and different. So I want to go ahead and bring Miss Avery to the space.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here.
I'm so glad to have you. Well, Avery, welcome
Thank
to the
you.
space. You're welcome. So how I love to open up According to Courtney, I always have the first three questions. Hi, we have Avery and a nice little guest that we will get to talk about here soon, here with us today. But I always ask my guests, what is your name and the origin of your name? Where are you from? And where are your people from? And then what message would you want to leave in the space for our viewers?
Okay, so my name is Avery, and I'm not quite sure where my mom, picked that up from, but she heard it and liked it. I'm from St. Pete, Florida. I was born in Tennessee, but grew up in St. Pete, Florida. So most of my people are Floridians or, come from this area. My grandmother on my mom's side is from the Bahamas. So I do have like that, experience with, her family down there and spending time there. And those are my people too.
I love that.
But yeah, just, and let's see. Oh, hi.
It's okay. It's all good.
A little sleepy, maybe.
And that's okay. That's what new baby things are for. So we're all happy and good for that. So let me ask you this. Out of we to talk about today, what would you want people to remember about your story?
I think from the story is like to listen to yourself, kind of like being able to like trust yourself or give yourself what you want, like it's okay to like follow what your heart is, kind of where your heart is leading you. So I had like it summed up kind of like quicker, but yeah, kind of like it's okay to trust yourself,
I love that.
Yeah,
that's powerful, because I think as new moms or even pregnant moms, period, you are not told to trust yourself and your instincts and how you should move. Like, you do have the right answers. You do know what's going on. And that actually leads me into talking to you and like, let's give a little background. So we have known each other for the last couple of years now. Um,
Right.
yep. And I have had the pleasure of being your doula. And I'm
The
very
pleasure is
curious.
ours.
Oh, I love you guys. But I want to know, like, with your journey, with your first birth, because I know that we've worked together for two of your babies. And I would love
Right.
to know about your birthing. When you first got pregnant with your first child, what made you choose how you wanted to birth with her?
When I was first pregnant with my firstborn, I think I just didn't really know what my full options were, or kind of like what I was really getting into. So
Mm.
I kind of just chose like the streamline, kind of mainstream, was just like, all right, let's get the next step. Okay, this is what the doctors are telling me. I'll do that. Like, was very just path of least resistance, maybe, or just kind of like, yeah, I didn't really know too much, I think I was
Okay.
just, yeah. Um,
So with your first birth, you say you kind of just went with the flow. What did you choose to have a hospital birth or a home birth? What did you choose
yeah,
to
so
do?
with the first birth, we chose to have a hospital birth, kind of just like went to see my OB and kind of just didn't question that, and just kind of, did what they said, and kind of just like fell in line to that, and didn't want to, you know, just, yeah,
Rock
I just kind of,
rock the boat.
yeah, I was like, all right, well, I'll do this. And you're telling me this, sure. Like, let's kind of, I was just kind of blindly kind of going into it. I had, known people in my life who had done home births, or, knew that that was kind of like out there, but I didn't ask any more questions really. And I just kind of was like, okay, this is what insurance is covering, and this is how things are going. Like, that's fine with me. I just will do that.
No, and I think a lot of people do that because that's no one tells you too much different. You may hear about stuff, but if you don't really know and everyone around you is going to the hospital having their baby, that's what you do. And also,
Right.
it's the times of, well, let me ask you this. How long ago did you have your first baby?
3.5 years ago.
Okay. So we were just, getting out of the COVID eras, and then we were still
Right.
dealing with that portion of life in the hospital system because it was still a little different. We're still having hospitals that allowed other people into the hospital with you. A lot of people were just having to go in at one point in time with just moms, and then they
Right.
were letting dads in there. So it was still a little funky of a time. So, most people were going into like a hospital setting for birth. So, would you feel comfortable sharing with us what was your hospital birth experience like?
Yeah, so my hospital birth experience was like not bad, like it was not bad. We had the OB team gave us like two options to have, between two different hospitals. And my partner's mom had given birth at one, and that's where, my partner was born, and she said it was a great experience. And we visited the hospital, and it was like, out of the two hospitals, it was the one that didn't have like a NICU. It was very like, you couldn't birth there if it was a high risk. So it was a little quieter, and
Okay.
it felt kind of, we went, when we visited, it was like dark, pretty dark there, and it was quiet. So I didn't have a bad experience there, but it was also a little chaotic, and it was a little, as soon as we got there to deliver, I was on the defense. And that was kind of like my whole plan. Like, I'm going to go in there and resist any type of their timeline. I'm going to go there and I'm going to resist, interventions, and I had my like mantras of ask me again in 30 minutes. And I was going to go there and like not get an epidural. Like that was my whole plan, like I'm going to go there and push to make sure that I can do this and do that. And then when I got there, I was kind of like getting there, like in a bit of like a fighting mode where, I was like, who's on call, who's going to be my doctor? I don't like that one. Call another one, like very defensive. But then we got settled and it was time, when it, came time to deliver and like meet my daughter, everything kind of like swooshed away and there was nothing, bad. But then as I got to reflect, it was like just a lot of pushback between me and the staff where
did you not feel like they were hearing you? What was the pushback so much about?
I think I was just a little uncomfortable in the space. Getting there, I was on monitors that I couldn't move around with. So that was my big, like, first getting there and just being really bummed about that. And then, not being excited about the doctor that was on call, and then, so it was just a lot of like, kind of back and forth of like, I'm not comfortable. And they're like, well, I can't really do anything for you, or, that kind of a thing. And then, because I couldn't move and because I was, everything was coming on stronger and I couldn't move, I resulted to getting an epidural and kind of like getting the first pain management, drugs that I didn't really know what it was, but they were like, this is what we can offer, kind of like beating around the bush. And,
that makes sense though. I think a lot of times that when you're in a hospital setting and you have a plan, a lot of people go in, I have this plan. I want to be able to do these things when they know that they can have a plan to like, okay, I want to be able to move. I want to stretch. I want to be on a birth wall, everything else. And then when you get there, they're like, no, you can't do any of that. You have to be on this type of monitor. You cannot get out of this bed. It can feel a little defeating. And then, a lot of people don't understand the mechanics of birth. So yes, of course you can birth laying flat on your back, but it makes it a lot harder.
Right.
And, when you're doing that, a lot of people do get epidural because it hurts. Like, what else am I supposed to do besides sit here? So.
And that was kind of it, they were kind of like, this is what we can offer, like accept it or don't, like this is how we're moving. And so I was kind of like, okay, I'll move in this way if this is my, my only option, kind of trying to like, not, add more fuel to like the fire and just kind of like, all right, this is what I'm in. And then there was a shift change and I did get a different doctor, which was just like a blessing, so that like kind of changed the energy. There was like a shift change with the whole team. And that was the thing, like nothing's, there, it wasn't really bad, but it was just kind of chaotic. It was like one nurse at this time, then a different one, then a whole different group. But the team that eventually like delivered Daisy, they were great. And I felt, safe with, like I was able to connect with one of the labor, nurses, and I was able to connect with the doctor who, but that it felt very by chance. Like it felt very like, oh wow, like this went well for me. I did just kind of have to like fight and like, do all this other crazy stuff. And, but it, I do feel like it, it got a little lucky at the end. Like it could have gone a lot worse, but I also like didn't have anything to compare it to, so I kind of like I was like, this is a little hectic, but I would expect that, you know, from a hospital, but
Right.
everything's kind of worked out, and, you know, maybe it's the like lesser of two evils out of the two hospitals I had to choose from, and kind of just being grateful for what I was able to get, and then
Right.
not really knowing what else I could have maybe, you know, had, or, you know, but then, you know, so then when I got pregnant again, I kind of was like, wait, maybe I could do things differently. Like maybe, you know, that wasn't terrible, but it still could be different, you know?
I love that you segue to that because that was to be my next question. It's like, what made you decide, you know what, this time I want to do something different? What was it with this time around that was like, what made you
It's,
question?
yeah, it's funny because like that's kind of like why I have like that, you know, trust yourself. Like that's what I kind of want the takeaway. It's like nothing super crazy happened or like didn't happen. I just had this like small feeling, like a small voice, like not even a super loud voice, but just like a small feeling, a small voice that was like, do it differently. Like,
Mhm.
look into it. Like, maybe there's a different option. Like, what about home? Like, what about having a home birth? Like, you know, I think I want to do that. And it wasn't like for any, like, I want to do it because like a solid fill in the blank. Like, it
Mhm.
was more like, I just want to. I just like something feels like I just want to do it differently. And that was kind of like end of the sentence, kind of like, you know, like I just want to, period. Like
I
I
love that.
don't, yeah,
What was appealing about doing a home birth for you? So it's like, yes, I want to do this. What about
yeah.
it was like, nope, this is it.
I think I just like, I knew that, well, it's funny because we had this like stray cat that lives at our house. So it's like our cat now, but she
Mhm.
came with the house, and we watched her kind of like have babies at our neighbor's house and then run to our house to have babies. And then we kind of like
Mm.
realized like, oh, she paused her labor and went to a different location. And then I learned that like they do that when there's like some type of a threat posed, or if they're not like in a good place to do it, they'll like stop and then like pause and like go do it somewhere else, you know? And I was like, that like resonated with me with my first birth, because I was like, if I could have just moved
Mhm.
around, I know I wouldn't have needed like the drugs or whatever. Like if I know I would have been able to like pain manage a lot differently or a lot better. So I was like, I think I'll be good if I can just like move around a little bit. Like I think I felt my whole like reflecting on the hospital birth, like I felt my body and my labor like pause as
Mhm.
soon as we got to the hospital. Where at home, I was in such a good groove. Like I was working through things, like I had my tools at home. And then I felt like that like cat that like paused and like stopped the process. Once I got to the hospital, because like I felt like a threat there where I couldn't like
Mm.
do what I was like wanting to do. So yeah, I kind of like had to like surrender to their process, and that was fine, whatever. But I was like, you know, I think I'll be good if I can be at home, you know, and move around and have, you know, support on a different, you know, have support. And
Right.
like, you know, yeah.
I love that.
Um
And it's something special about doing something in your own space. This is
yeah,
your
I was
house.
like, I just don't want to leave my house. I think something that also like really appealed to my switch was I kind of was like, I don't even fully like, if the home birth doesn't work out, that's fine. I need like different care before I get to that point. Like I
Mhm.
need someone that I can text and call and have like a personal relationship with, or like I need a good hour visit at this like prenatal appointment. Like I'm over these 15-minute sterile appointments. Like I just need to know that like I'm gonna give myself a different option or whatever. Like I just like I needed the whole experience of the care. Like I needed someone like in my corner that I could talk to, that didn't just view me as like another number or like another patient or whatever out of their like very large, you know, list or whatever, you know.
No, that makes sense. So that brings to a good point. So when you decided I want a home birth, what does that process look like for people who don't know? How do you go about a home birth?
Yeah, and for me, I was like so back and forth on it too. Like I felt like it took me a minute to get over, like I was like, am I a diva for wanting a home birth? Like, which also like maybe that's not a bad thing, even to like be a diva for yourself, you know, whatever.
Right.
But I kind of had to like fight that, like, well, I just want to be so, you know, easy, go with the flow, whatever. I don't want to have to like say that I need this or that this is important to me, or like, and then I was like, wait, why am I fighting something that's important to me, or, you know,
Right.
whatever. So yeah, I kind of just, yeah, I wasn't like, I kept being like, do I want one? Do I not want one? Do I want one? Do I not want one? So I like teetered on that for too long. But I think for me, it looked like just reaching out to kind of like the people in the community who I knew were midwives, or knew like they had connections to midwives or to that like birthing world. But I was already like very pregnant. I feel like if somebody else was considering doing that, to kind of like do a little research, like as preemptive as they could, kind of, you know, or, you know,
Right.
put those feelers out, which I kind of did because I kind of know, you know, people, but
Right. You had dabbled in, you know, in the birth circling world. You know people who are midwives. You knew people who had
right,
done it. So, you know, it's not that
right.
it was completely foreign to you, but at the same
No,
time, it's very different when you're like, okay, I'm looking for this person for myself. How is that?
right,
What does that look
right.
like? And so let me ask you about that. What did you notice different when you reached out to midwives versus reaching out to an OB?
They were just so sweet, like just the sweetest. Like I was kind of like, I have questions. So they're like, great, I can pop over and like, let's talk about whatever you have questions about, you know, like, or that's awesome. Like, let's hop on a phone call. Can I call you right now? Can I, you know, like, and just being very like genuinely like already kind of like invested, and then kind of like closing it out, being like, anytime, reach out, like, let me know what kind of questions you have, you know, just being very like, very present, very, you know, genuine, and very just like sweet, which is something that that's like what I was looking for. Like, I needed that connection about being pregnant. Like, instead of just this, like, oh, geez, you're pregnant. Like, pee in this
Next,
cup for me, please. You
right.
know?
Another check mark on the list versus trying to
Right.
see
Or
how you're
just,
doing.
yeah. So that already just like felt really good.
Good.
And yeah, so I met with 3 different midwives, reached out to a few more to see like what their calendar was like and stuff like that, but ended up having like 3 different conversations, 2 in person and 1 like, you know, doing like a video chat where, yeah, and they were all great, you know, and I'm like grateful for all of them to talk with me because it gave me a better understanding of like what a midwife is and, you know, what talking with one is like, you know. I was able to kind of ask them all my questions, and they all were able to give me like really thoughtful, you know, responses that totally like, you know, answered something for me. And the fact that they were all so like, you know, gave such great answers or whatever just gave me like more confidence in wanting and like needing that care, you know. I remember just like kind of crying after talking with one and just being like, I want to do this. Like, I want to sign up with them, you know, like this feels good. Like, I need this.
See, and I think that's the biggest part that I love that you shared is that empowerment feeling is like you're supposed to feel empowered during your birthing process. Like you're supposed to feel good. I'm birthing with this person and feel excited about that. That's actually supposed to be a normal feeling to be like, yes, I'm going to do this with you.
Right. And like, yeah. So I enjoyed like meeting with all of them and
yeah. So after meeting with all your midwives and you decided on one and decided to go into care, when you're getting ready for a home birth, what does that look like compared to getting ready for a hospital birth?
It's fun. It's like it was fun. I remember you would say like, we're getting ready to have your like a birthday party, you know.
Yeah.
So it was fun, but it looks like, you know, you want to make sure you have your kind of community in place, like your people who's going to be a part of this, like who's going to be in your space, who's not going to be in your space, like who's going to be, you know, taking care of you kind of, you know, after this or whatever. Because you don't have like a team of nurses or whatever like that's at the hospital with you those 24
Correct.
48 hours, or, you know, the hospital cafeteria or whatever, you know.
Right. It is different. You do have to set it up differently, and you have to get a birthing team really to come in to be with you. And, you know, what did you notice that is different about having a birthing team versus having nurses and
well,
a
you know
doctor?
who they are. Yeah. So it's not this like random people coming into your space that you don't know, or different people every few hours. You know, there's like trust and respect and like this whole, you know, relationship kind of that you've set up, you know. And like I have my relationship with you, and then it's like you and my partner Jeff, like all you guys have your connection, and like then we have like our whole connection, and everyone just gets like to be more seen and heard. And, you know, it was just like a lot more fun because you know your people and you feel safe. And I knew that also, like, you know, just having you going into it, like, yeah, just like fully comfortable and, you know, yeah, just that trust and respect. It's just a lot more comfortable, I think.
I think it's different when you have like a doula in general, because that's your person. Like we're here
you
for
need a
you.
doula. Yeah. You need a doula if you're gonna, you know, or like I did at least, but like, yeah, I think you definitely need a doula on your team. And then whoever else, you know, you want to bring in too or whatever. But yeah.
I think having a doula makes a big difference because And with having a midwife, they are so amazing and they answer all your medical stuff and they love you up in that type of way. But having a doula is your own personal person that you can ask all your questions, all your things. Your midwife is there for that. But your doula comes in, like, can wants to spend an hour with you and spend an hour with you and your partner and your family and make sure that you guys feel seen and heard, and that the lovely part with us, we go with you no matter what. So if we're at a home birth, great. And if you transfer, we go with you too. So you always have your person in your corner no matter what. That's what we're here for. So I always encourage people when they have home births to get a doula. It doesn't necessarily need to be me, but
You
you should
need a
have a
doula.
doula in your corner when you're having a home birth. So at this point, I think this is a good midpoint to do, because when we get back, I'm going to want to ask you about what was your labor like in your home birth.
Okay, let's do it.
All right.
Alrighty, great story, Gales. Great story. So, our Blast Artist Spotlight today is my homie, the Songbird Raven, and this is called Don't Do It. Let's check it.
He says I make him happy. He tells me that I'm beautiful. I won't lie, I don't believe him sometimes. Cause to hear that ain't the usual. Now you got me open, and if you think there is a chance that you'll hurt me, don't do it, baby. 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 Spoke. Now you've hurt my feelings. Now you are accountable for everything I said to you. Now you got me open, and if you think there is a chance that you hurt me, don't do it, baby. 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 Do it, don't do it, baby. Please don't 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 do it, baby. Please don't do it, baby. Please don't do it, don't do it, baby.
And that was the Songbird Raven with Don't Do It. And if you are an independent artist or a spoken word poet or up and coming comedian looking for some exposure, you can go to blastmusic247.com and register for free. But Blast is also looking for the fans. So if you're a fan of great music, you too can go to blastmusic247.com and register as an unlimited fan and get access to hundreds of independent music. Blast, we're constantly changing the industry one artist at a time. All right, ladies, back to you.
Thank you. So everyone, welcome back to According to Courtney. If you guys are just joining us, we're here with Miss Avery, and we're talking about her experiences of both having a hospital birth and now she deciding that she wanted to do something different and building her home birth team And so now I'm going to ask you, tell me about your home birth and what your experience was.
It was amazing. It really was. This is the room Edie was born in, um, which was
So
also so
cool.
nice. Like, we had, my cousin over that week, and she was like, it does not like feel like, like, where's the evidence that you just had a baby here? Everything was kind of just, as it was,
Mm-hmm.
the room was like just back to itself kind of the next day. It just felt like more magical, and everything felt more like home even.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, it was great. It was like, it sounds like kind of just like cheap or whatever, like I need a better word, but it was really just, it was fun. Like, um, and I wanted to do it for me too. Like, I felt like my baby wanted to be born at home, which
Mm-hmm.
also it's just like, how do you really describe what that feels like? But I don't, I just was like, I think she wants to be born at home. I don't know. Um,
You
yeah.
were so set on it in a way that you were so excited. It's like, this is our home. We should have this baby here. So can you walk through for people, how did you decide to set up your home for having a baby there?
Yeah, well, we kind of like went back and forth with where it was going to happen, like where we decided to have the baby at the house.
Hmm. And I think we actually have
And
a picture of that with the baby with the birth tub, because you had a whole room set up so
yeah,
people can have an idea of what that looks like. Right there, I love this. This is the cutest room. You guys don't get the full vision of how sweet this little room is, and it had the birth tub in it. And you guys had decorated with the dried flowers. It was just such a little
right.
sweet
Yeah,
spot.
I think it was nice because there was the windows on all, three sides of you know, of the four walls or whatever. And it just was, had the sunlight in after the rainstorm. But yeah, it just felt like open. We just kind of pushed everything to the side, and everybody, it was small, and it was like big enough just to kind of have the tub and the, four of us in the space, which kind of made everybody kind of also be right hands on.
Oh,
Um,
I love this. And so this is the sweetest little foot. This is
I know.
afterwards. And
Yeah.
I can you tell us a little bit more about this sweet little foot?
This is when we were making our little like midwife home, certificate birth, where it was just kind of like a little keepsake for the family,
Oh, that's
which
so
is a nice
sweet.
thing too, because they did that at the hospital with Daisy, where they put her little foot on something that has the hospital's name. But this is even more, that's kind of the thing. You don't like miss out on anything that the hospital is going to give you. Like, everyone kind of make, yeah, you get the little footprint cutesy thing. It's just even more like, personal. You get to pick out the colors, and then, my older daughter, big sis, is able to like participate in it all, and it's on our bed, and it's just more comfortable and personal, for such like a personal experience.
Oh, I
I know.
love
So that was right
this.
after. She's like, let me take a picture of you guys.
So wait, this is
Um,
right after you had your baby?
no, this was at our 2-week appointment. Um,
So I want to like hold and give pause right now. You look good. You just had
thank
your baby 2 weeks
you.
ago, and both you and your partner are just glowing.
So happy. I mean, like, yeah, the love and all the oxytocin just really like filled up the house and the room. So it's just a really, really good feeling, for the whole family. It's fun for the whole family.
Yes. So I want you to walk me through the day of your second baby's birth. What was that like?
Okay, it was like kind of, it was a hot summer day. And we kind of knew like the baby's coming, the water is leaking and it's time to make the baby come out, so at 7 a.m. that day I was out curb walking, trying to get something going. It's coming, it's going. Midwife comes over to check in on everybody, hear the baby, let's check on mom.
Right.
We're reaching out to our doula, Courtney, and we're like, hey, kind of clear your schedule, or a baby's coming today, And so,
Yep.
kind of like putting, we're like, it's happening today,
Putting it out there in the air, like this is D-Day. This is B-Day.
Yeah.
This is birthday.
It's a birthday. So it was kind of like, okay, it's happening, but what's happening also, it wasn't just like, all right, you're in active labor, the baby's coming today. It was kind of like, all right, this is what's going to have to happen. So let's get ready. And then, yeah, we, made a plan to kind of like, if the baby doesn't come by this time, we'll transfer,
Right.
And so I think you came over maybe around 1 o'clock, or, touch base around sometime around then, after kind of just like a slowish morning of like some walking, hangs with my toddler, little bit of this, but I was kind of trying to rest and conserve my energy a little bit too, because I just like wasn't sure what was going to happen. And then, yeah, Courtney comes over and just really kicks it into gear, and we're like, all right, let's
go. Okay. So from our perspective, you were having laboring during the morning time, and I was like,
right.
all right, let's see what it is. And I got there, and I was like, okay, we're around 5. Let's do some things. And it had come up about getting a chiropractor adjustment. So this is what I like to tell people about their toolkits of being in labor. And it's like, you can have help. You don't have to doesn't have to be prodromal. If we need some help, let's get some. And we were able to call in a chiropractor who's Abundance Chiropractor Group. I love them. Andreas and Hennessis are absolutely amazing. And they were able to see you. So I came and picked you up. I was like, hey, how you doing? And, checked in with you. How did you feel when I got there? What was on your mind? Because you're so cute. You were just sitting on the bed looking at me, and I'm looking at you.
Right. I was kind of like, I don't really know what's going on. I don't want to go there and my vibe be weird or whatever. And then I was like, you need to have a baby. Like, this is, kind of just like opening up and being like, okay, this is what's being suggested, like an adjustment. This is what's being kind of like provided for, also like it's showing up like, okay, you have an appointment, just go do this kind of. So I was like Courtney's gonna take you. So I was kind of like, all right, yes, let's do this. I wasn't fully sure. Like, I kind of wanted to be like, come back later when the labor starts more or whatever. And then I was like, no, she's here. She's ready. She knows what she's doing. This is why we have a doula. Like, kind of my plan is kind of like, default to what the experts are saying, to the people that you trust and know. So I was kind of like, all right, let's do it, but I still didn't really know what was about to happen, or like what was, going to happen in a few hours, or that I was getting ready to meet my daughter,
Right. What was it like having an adjustment in labor? Can you describe that to people? Because a lot of people have never had a chiropractic adjustment, nor have they had one in labor. So what exactly happened?
Right. And I kind of thought he was gonna be like, yeah, like cracking my neck and like just doing the typical thing. But no, it was like pelvic related, so it was really nice. Like, I felt super fortunate and like blessed to be able to step into that space and receive those services when I needed them. They were great. Like, the environment, the atmosphere, like his care, like I felt very safe and comfortable. So it was kind of nice. Like, it wasn't painful at all. It was nice to hear like what he was saying and how you were reading the situation, and kind of like connect those dots to where I was like, I think this is helping. Like, this is good. Like, I could feel, some change happening. So it was a good tool. I know it might not have worked for everybody, but it was something that like I needed, and I was just grateful. And yeah, I wasn't sure what to expect, but it was kind of that like, have an adjustment,
Walk
take
around,
a little
do some lap.
lap.
Yep.
Yeah, get another adjustment. So it felt very like Jeff jokes that like you were like my trainer, like, and you were like, I was like the athlete, and he was like, so it felt like you were like kind of like, all right, like, let's go, so it was very much that like I was like just kind of following your lead, like leaning on you as things like built up, and you just were like, I got you, and you're so strong, and so it was like just able to kind of, it was good. It felt good.
You did great. So what it looks like is like, and like you said, you get an adjustment and then you do a lap. So a lap, when you're trying to get labor going like that, is a lap and squat. So we take a step and we're doing a lunge, and then we're doing a squat for 30 seconds, building to 60 seconds, and then doing a lunge and then some squats again, and then you're getting an adjustment. So what we're doing is rearranging your hips. He'll rearrange your hips, and then we're like, okay, we're going to move movement and see how we move the baby down. So it is just a lot like that. It was coaching, like, okay, come on, we got to go.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see what this looks like, because you're trying to build a momentum to get your contractions going. So you did this, and you did wonderful. We did this a great adjustment. It only took like an hour?
Yeah, if that, yeah.
And then so we get your adjustment, and then we're starting to drive back to your house. What are you feeling at this point? What you notice any changes?
I noticed that I was able to look at the clock on your car and see that they were coming where we needed them to come in. So it was like, okay, cool, another one. All right, like, I got to move this one out a little bit. I can't just sit, in the car or whatever. Like, so that gave me also like a little boost. Like, okay, what we just did, it's kicking it all up. Like, still like, what's going to happen, not really knowing the timeline of everything, but felt like, okay, that was a good move. Like, what's our next play or whatever, like, right. This is, something's happening. Like, I wanted it to kick in,
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, felt like a little relief,
So that, you got to trust the process in a home birth. Like, it's like, you got to trust the process, because it's not like in the hospital where you have someone standing over you like, okay, let's go. Oh, you're not going
right.
fast enough. So now we're going to give you these drugs. We're going to do this and this and that. It's really us listening to your bodies and saying, okay, well, let's tweak this and let's watch what happens. And we go from there. So we get back to your house and your contractions have picked up. What was your process? What did you do after you got in?
We got in. I think we did a quick lap. Too hot. Came back in.
It was too hot.
Came back in, popsicles, cooled down. And then I will also say, like, a key part of my labor that I remember is the watermelon and honey.
Yes.
With the lemon juice.
Yes.
Which was like the perfect, like, only you would know, like, you don't just need the watermelon, like, you need the honey, like the extra sugar, the extra fuel to kind of like get us to our next point. But then, yeah, like, we came, quick lap, popsicles, watermelon. Then we were like, all right, bounce, like birthing ball, like let's bounce it out. And then I think that's when like the disco and soul playlist kind of gets put on.
Let's give some love to your playlist. When I say,
which is so fun.
You have the best playlist. I always tell clients, make a playlist so that you birth the way that you want to, and your music will flow in the mood you need. No one could have picked a better playlist for your birth, because every song hit at the right moment when you were laboring. And I'm just, and I would just look at you sometimes for a laugh, because I'm like, I know.
Which was like needed too. I like
Right.
that when there's like a Sharon Jones song, like how long do I have to wait for her or for you, your love? And we were both just like start laughing. And like that was also that like oxytocin we needed to get in. It was happening, like I kept feeling like, okay, I'm like in pain, like I gotta poop, something's happening. You're like, all right, you know, hop in the shower, you know. So then like that was like another really nice thing. Like you, the birthing team, like we're like, you and Jeff like take a shower, cool off, whatever, come out or whatever. And I think just like him and I being able to connect a little bit in that moment, and also kind of like have a laugh. He was like, I know you're going through it, but like, you know, you look so good. I'm so happy. This is so exciting. And he's like, I don't want to piss you off too much right now. Like, so we're just like laughing at each other too, like keeping it like, you know, and in our house, in our shower, you know, like that was just a nice thing that we were able to do, you know. And then coming back out, just kept wanting to get on the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
And then so uncomfortable on the toilet, and that knowing that pool was heating up, was like, yeah, let me get in there. Like, I don't know if it's, everyone kept saying like, we'll get in there when it's time to push. But nobody was like, it's time to push, let's get in there. So but you guys kind of were like, let's get in there. Yeah.
So here's a trick that we do, is because I'll tell you, after you got out the shower, you sat on the ground and you start just kind of shifting your body around, and you start making a deep guttural moan. So this is like gold to birth workers. So we're like, oh, okay. The things are going, and then you would go into a deep growl, and you would start pursing your body up. So we're watching you. So, you know, a lot of times in the hospital, someone's constantly coaching you. Go, you need to do this.
Right.
On purpose, it's like we're talking to each other with our eyes, like, we see you. And the thing is, we tell you, it's time when it's time to push, because we're waiting for you to tell us, hey, I'm uncomfortable, I'm hot, and I want to get in the water because I need to push. Because I was like, oh, because you said so, like, I just need to poop. I just need to go. This is too much. I was like, oh, okay. And and I'm just listening to us. All right, let's go sit on the toilet for a minute. We're gonna get the water ready. And I peeked under you, and so both me and the midwife looked, and we're like, there, because when you go to bury out, you could see a little bit of hair, and we're like, okay. But at the same time, it's like you don't want to scare anyone. It's like you're wanting to listen to your body to be like, hey, okay, well, what are we doing next? Because you're in charge. It's all on you. It's like, okay, so you feeling this way? Oh, it won't stop. You feel like you constantly just need to poop, don't you? You're like, yeah. Like, oh, okay, well, you know, you want to get in the water? But you would start pushing, and we're watching you, so you know you're pushing, right? You're like, I am pushing.
Right.
I am. And so it's about just like really building you up to say, okay, so what's next? So now, what's next? What happens next?
It's a really like intense, because with the first, you know, with having the epidural, I could like tiniest feel the contractions, you know, whatever, not really, but without that, it is much more of a wave. Like, so I didn't realize, like, you can kind of feel it coming on. So where you're like, oh, it's about to be really like painful. I want to like tense up and resist. And then I feel like once I kind of was like, oh, it's coming, like, this is good, like, just kind of lean into it, make a noise, whatever. but it's kind of like that roller. You're like, oh, I know the drop's about to happen. It's kind of like building up, building up, building up. And then it's like, wee, like, okay, this is so scary, like whatever. But so it's like leaning, like just kept like leaning into it. And then, yeah, I don't even know how many pushes, maybe 3 pushes, 3 or 4.
Yeah. You got into the tub and you just like embodied the tub. You got in there and you're really in it. I think we have a picture of you in the tub, just kind of leaned over, and you were just in your element. So when you had those contractions, you had maybe, I think you only did like really 30 minutes of anything, but you didn't, when it came to pushing, I think it was only like 3 pushes and you were in it.
Right.
You were done because you were in the water, you were buoyant, you just kind of let your body be. And you're just like, okay. And you just curled into yourself and wanted let your body do its thing. So for you in that moment, what were you thinking and what were you feeling?
I was excited. Like, it was, the contractions got painful, but like knowing that like I had like you in front of me and like Jeff right behind me, and I just felt very safe and very like, like I was kind of like, it's all happening, like hearing like just the little bits of like coaching from the room, or like, Alasia being like, all right, on this next one, drop your shoulders, but keeping it really whatever, having your like hand on me, and just, Jeff's like, I'm ready to get in. And I'm like, I need this whole space to like be on all fours and like whatever. But yeah, I just kind of like felt it was all happening. You kind of just feel connected to everything, and like this thing within you that's just like melts your body, and kind of like you just feel, I just felt like capable, like even though I was like, I can't do this, it was like, like kind of like my body's doing the thing. But I was like shocked, surprised, relief, when we were all just sitting there and I'm holding my daughter and she's looking at me, and it's just like the perfect lighting, and I'm just like, this is just very special. And like to just be a part of that, like witnessing of life, it feels so like normal, kind of like connected to earth, but like also like out of body, like this is just so amazing. But it just felt like I felt grounded like in it, but also just like so like light and like out of, I don't know, I felt like with it though, like I was present in the pool, like in the space, like
right,
and excited, and yeah.
Yes. So one of the things I love to do on here is give people their flowers. So I get to give you your flowers. You did so amazing. And from my perspective, you came in, you trusted the process, you trusted your team. And that is like the most important thing that you need out from a client, from a doula standpoint, as a midwifery standpoint. It is like, you have to trust the process, and you trust the process, and you leaned into it like full throttle. If I was like, hey, I want to do this, I want to try this, are you open to it? You're like, okay, let's go. Or, I need you to eat this. It was never anything to it. You're like, okay, all right. And I'll tell you why. But watching you literally come from out the shower, you came out a different person. You came out much more confident than I think you realized. You were like, yo, I'm in this, I'm ready, I'm feeling it, it is real. And you commanded the space, but you're so serene with it. And it was just beautiful to watch the love and the connection that everyone in that room had with you. I love to watch you and your partner. I love you and Jeff, and just how supportive, and that you guys had the space to do everything you wanted to do. I know that we worked together more virtually, but met in person for your first birth, just due to what it was. And then this time around, being able to be there with you guys and just watching you guys and the love you guys have, and to walk around the house and him to hold you, for you to be able able to move and then be able to like knock out all the boxes you wanted. You wanted the birth
Mm-hmm.
that you wanted. You worked hard for it. You did the things, you listened, and you accomplished it. And it was beautiful. Like there was a huge storm monsoon that happened during your labor, which we're like, what is this? And then for it to end and the sun to be out and there to be rainbows,
Right.
that's what you birthed to sunshine and rainbows after a storm. And it was just the most perfect birth. And it was perfect to see like you did it. You did that.
Yeah.
And you
I
and your
feel really
family.
good about it.
Good. I
Yeah.
love that. If there was anything you would want people to know about going into a home birth, what are some things they should probably research? If you're like, okay, you're going to do this, what should they know? Just give them like 3 tips.
Yeah, well, we said it already, but if you're gonna do a home birth, get a doula. Find one of those. But yeah, like just research, like tap into your community, like figure out like what resources are out there, and make phone calls and like see what feels good to you. And that, yeah, like you can do it. Like it doesn't have to. I was like, is my, felt like, do we have enough finances? Is my house clean enough? Like, is this something I can do? Like, if you can do it, like that's like if you think you can do it, or if you want to do it, like it's worth looking into, at least. Like it's worth knowing that it's like it's for everyone. It's not just for like a certain type of person, or you don't have to be like the crunchiest person, or like it's you just, if you want to do it, you can, or like at least like give yourself that like option of like listen to yourself, like think if it's something that's on your heart, like look into it, don't ignore those feelings.
I think that is beautiful, and that you touched on something that's really important. Anybody can do it. Like, is it an investment? It is. But again,
Right.
when you reach out to your community, you'll be surprised who comes up for you and who will serve you and be there for you. Because one thing about the birthing community, we want to serve families who want to be served, and we make a way. We will make a way to support the best that we can, because people who really want this, who are also good, genuine people, you want to see them win. And so I love that about you guys so much, is that you really leaned on community. People worry about getting their house clean. Barter is a beautiful thing. Like there's ways to do things between barter and just finding out who's good at what, and the people want to help you. People want to see people do things, and also it's a pay it forward thing. You have done so many beautiful things in the community and loved up on so many people. People want to love up on you back. And and also people want to support home birth, because a lot of people have never seen it, or if they have, they know what it takes. So it's just like, hey, let me help you. Hey, let me love you up.
Right.
Hey, can I bring you, even if that's simple as just, can I bring you a meal? Can I bring you some fresh fruit? Can I wash your dishes? All the small things all comes into play. So, Avery, I appreciate you so much for coming on here and sharing your story, and just,
anytime.
Thank you. And this, I really hope it inspires other families to know you can do this. We're out here. It's just, you don't have to have all the money in the world. You don't have to have all the things, and you don't have to be the crunchiest. I think that is really the biggest lesson, to be like, hey, you could be any kind of person, but to listen to the voice inside yourself and be like, hey, I want to do this.
If something's like, if you're curious, like I definitely would just like try to learn more about it. And it's very, it felt just like very normal and very right for like my family, and like and for me, like I was like, this is going to be good for me. Like this is going to be healing for me. Like, yes, I want the whole family included, and my daughter who's going to choose to be born this way. But I was like, I think I need to do this for me. Like, so yeah.
think that's beautiful. Thank you so much, and I appreciate
Of
you so much.
course.
And to my to
Thank you.
you're welcome to my viewers. Thank you so much for being here. Know that you're loved, you're seen and heard. And until next time, y'all take care. Bye.